Yo, what's your way Ghost here. Today I'm bringing you guys another comparison video between the Type-100 and Owen gun. Now this may seem kind of crazy, but the Type-100 ended up receiving a buff in, I guess, the weapon update that we got like a week and a half ago. And in this buff, the Type-100 just got way better. And I've always been kind of like a low-key advocate for the Type-100. If you guys take a look at my channel from like the past, you would see that I've made quite a few Type-100 videos because, you know, I just feel like this gun is definitely a lot better than most people give credit to. Or give it credit, I guess that's how you say it. And with this buff, I feel like it's helped it get more popularity and just showcase how good it can actually be. Because I've been seeing a lot more people use it. I use it a little bit differently, but you know we'll get into that in just a second. But I genuinely believe that this Type-100 can easily be a top 3, if not probably the best SMG in the game right now. That may just be a honeymoon phase right now because of when I just used it, but I genuinely believe that. But before we dig into the comparison, I want to say if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. 1 to 2,000. And yeah, man, with that being said, let's get into the comparison. And here we have the recoil pattern for the Type-100. Now, I would say that long range for this would be irrelevant, but no, that's not the case because unlike my Owen gun and MP40, I do not use the shortest barrel on the Type-100. Now, to be honest, I don't know if it would make it way better. I don't really want to try it because I feel like I got a good thing going on with my current class setup. And actually, looking at the patch notes, I realized that for the most part, I'm pretty sure none of the things that I'm using actually got buffed. Aside from the minimum damage, it went from 20 up from 18. The other, I guess, just barrels ended up getting buffed or whatever, while the one that I'm using just kind of stayed the same. And I guess, I don't really know. Like, I guess that means the Type-100 was just good, period. And maybe if I did use one of the buffed barrels, it would be a little better. But the one thing that made me kind of fall in love with the Type-100 was just the fact that not only did it kill pretty fast, or at least for me, it felt like it killed fast. It also had like a little bit of range, which is something that I'm kind of missing now on the Owen gun and MP40 since I use the rapid barrels and whatnot. And so for me to be able to have an SMG that again can be pretty effective at medium to long range, I feel kind of happy. And again, bro, like I really feel like this gun has been getting slept on for too long. Now I have been seeing one thing that's been kind of interesting because I have not tried it myself, but people have been using it Type-100 a little bit more now. I will admit I've been seeing a lot more Type-100s recently. The only thing that I really can't seem to understand is the 32 round mag. Now, I don't know if they ended up buffing this gun in the Season 3 update. I honestly, at this point, I'm too lazy to go look at it. I might look at it later. But I just see a lot of people using the 32 round mag. I don't really understand the reason for that. Like, I can understand if it kills really, really fast. But, I mean, 32 rounds is kind of risky, especially when you play a game mode like Rebirth quads, which is what I normally always play. And 48 bullets, I would say, is kind of the sweet spot. Sometimes it may not be enough in some cases because, I'm kind of spoiled by the Owen gun 72. So when I use the MP40's 45, or in this case the 48, or even the well gun's 40, it just doesn't feel, it doesn't feel the same at all. But 32, man, 32 is really, really tough because you gotta keep in mind, like, you down someone in like maybe 8 bullets, you're not gonna hit all your shots. Maybe half the clip is spent, I would say, downing someone, and then I guess like most of the other remaining clip is gonna be used on just ending somebody. I mean, yes, you can use the throwing knife, but for me, bro, like, half the time I don't even use the throwing knife, and half the time I miss the throwing knife, so I have to end them with my bullets. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. 32 rounds though. That's kind of what like steers me away from the Sten as well. Like the Sten just doesn't have like the greatest, would say, options for mags. And so that's why I kind of stay away from it. And that gun is not that bad either, but it's just, it's not what I want to use. And again, man, if you guys have not used the Type-100 after this update, man, I would definitely recommend it. I know the buff doesn't seem like the greatest, but listen, if you guys want to try something new, man, I would definitely recommend it. I feel like you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage at all by using the Type-100. And if anything, bro, it's definitely gotten better from the time that I've used it in the past. And if you, like I said, if you want some variety, man, use it. I'm hoping that the stats right now help you guys kind of understand my point because, like I said, man, I definitely think that this Type-100 could be easily a top 3 SMG in the game, no doubt. But with that being said, let's get into the Owen gun and some stats. And here we have the recoil pattern for the Owen gun. Now, in this case, I'm not gonna lie, the recoil pattern and the whole range conversation kind of goes out the window because if you guys did not watch my last comparison with the Owen gun, I now use the rapid barrel on this gun, so my range game just takes a huge hit because I'm now using a shorter barrel, and it's all about close range now with this specific class setup, which is completely fine because it excels at that. It does a really good job, and I genuinely like this class setup more than my other one. But on the other hand, I do miss my range game sometimes, and that's why like I feel like the Type-100, like I said earlier, was kind of why I was leaning towards it more right now. And also, a little quick side note, I ended up looking back at the patch notes to Season 3 to see what exactly changed with the Type-100 as to why it feels so good. And it actually ended up getting nerfed, or slightly nerfed. It got its recoil adjusted in the Season 3 update, but the 48 round mag, which is something that I use, ended up getting nerfed because it was too powerful. The damage multipliers got decreased. It made it basically it made it killing one more bullet. I think I said that right. But regardless, it's still a very powerful SMG. And I'm not gonna lie, I looked at the stats and I was kind of surprised that these are the stats. But it kind of made sense once I found out what the fire rate is, which is the first set of stats we're going to talk about. And in this case, the fire rate for the Type-100 is actually 750 RPM compared to the 500 RPM of the Owen gun. And just base fire rate wise, the Type-100 clearly has a huge advantage in fire rate. And yes, you can put on attachments and whatnot. And I do use, I think, one more fire rate attachment with my Owen gun now that I'm using the rapid barrel. But it still just doesn't come close to the deficit because with the Type-100, I use the recoil booster. I think the barrel doesn't give me more fire rate, but I obviously could put the rapid barrel or the short barrel equivalent on the Type-100, and as well as maybe a magazine. Now, I'm pretty sure my magazine actually reduces fire rate. I think it's a damage reducing fire rate, but that's probably why I did the recoil booster. I actually don't remember the specifics. All I know is that this Type-100 class I've been rocking with for quite a while now, and it's just been working. I don't really remember the reason why, but I'm pretty sure the things that I just listed are all accurate. But regardless, like even if I had a fire rate reducing attachment, like 750 RPM base fire rate is actually one of the highest in the SMG category. Off the top of my head, I'm not entirely sure which one comes close. I think the PPSH for sure. It's the only one that I can really think of. I'm not sure how the new SMGs, I guess, match up with it, but I know for a fact like the Wellgun, MP40, and Owen gun all are by far inferior to that of the Type-100's fire rate. And again, the fire rate actually does matter because it's one of those things where it's like, man, that's what really helps you separate at close range, because sometimes damage just may not be at the same level as other SMGs. But again, like I always use this example, but the MAC-10 is an example of where fire rate just helps it prevail even when it's completely out damaged, which in this case, I would say the Type-100 is quite out damaged because for 0 to 14 meters, you got 44 damage to the head, 39 to the neck, 30 to the chest and stomach, and then 28 to the extremities. For the Owen gun, you have 56 damage to the head, neck, and chest, and then you got 39 to the stomach and extremities. So obviously, a huge difference in damage between the two, even at the headshot, I guess, range. But the fire rate is just what helps it, I would say, like, compete. And on top of that, I have a damage mag, which slightly increases my damage values with, whatever range that I may use it in. And for 14 to 18 meters for the Type-100, you got 35 damage to the head, 30 to the neck, 24 to the chest and stomach, and 22 to the extremities. While the Owen guns for 17 to 21 meters, you got 47 damage to the head, neck, and chest, and then 33 to the stomach and extremities. So again, Owen gun has quite an advantage at this range. But the difference between this and that of like the Type-100 is just the fact that with the rapid barrel on the Owen gun, I kind of lose this like aspect of my Owen gun. I'm not necessarily like, it's still pretty good at medium range, but like, not as good as I would say as a Type-100, or more as effective, I would say. But obviously if I went back to my old Owen gun class, I would have the same range that I did before, and maybe I will go back to it at some point. But for now, given my current class setup, this might not apply to everybody because some of you guys may not be using the rapid barrel on the Owen gun, but since I'm using it, I'm kind of affected at range. Anyways, though, to close out the last set of damages or range, I don't know, man, the ranges, I don't know. For 18 meters and above for the Type-100, you got 32 damage to the head, 28 to the neck, 22 to the chest and stomach, and 22 to the extremities. For the Owen gun, you got 34 damage to the head, neck, chest, and then 24 to the stomach and extremities. So in this, it's not, obviously the advantage is still there, but it's still not, like Type-100 has a better chance at long range. And again, with the rapid barrel, I lose the whole long range aspect, so, I'm just going to say that the Type-100 has a better chance at long range. But again, these are SMGs at the end of the day. We're not here to use these guns across the map. But in the cases that you find yourself in a situation where you need to be bailed out by your SMG, the Type-100, I would say at this range, is going to give you a more reliable option. Or would be the more reliable option. Unless you use the Owen gun that's like normal, no rapid barrel or short barrel. But again, man, in conclusion, I actually think that the Type 100 right now is it's a honeymoon phase, but I actually enjoy this gun a lot. I would be very confident in saying at the very least it is the number 2 SMG right behind the Owen gun. I think it could even be better than the well gun. I think it's definitely better than the MP40 at the moment, even with the short barrel, and so it easily makes it to the top 3. Maybe it's not necessarily the better than the Owen gun, but at very least can either compete or is better than the well gun. And so I think, I may not say it's the best SMG right now, but it's definitely a top 3, top 2 SMG in the game. If you have not used it already, man, please do me a favor, man, and use this gun. This gun is very, very good, and it shouldn't be slept on for any longer than it has been. But with that being said, man, let me know what you guys think about this gun down in the comment section down below, and catch you guys in the next one. I am out. Peace.